I'm not going to say that wasn't really nice.
That's one way of saying something.
It's not exactly what these packs do.
Right.
Also beautiful, but not quite dripping, British, fat, mid-rangey, squishy.
Right.
Yeah.
Orangey.
Yeah. It's like this. You know what I mean?
Oh, I know what you mean.
Just cowboy chord.
I just want to play drums to it.
Oh, definitely. It's. I heard when I posted a photo of this amp, somebody said, I used to have that amp. It did one thing really well.
Was it that thing?
It's kind of that thing. Now, I would say, actually, if you just... the reason that I profiled multiple speakers was sort of to give it some added versatility. Because I played orange amps for years, and I felt my favorite things came out of them when I got away from the V30 speakers. But the V30 speakers do the thing that they do incredibly well. And so here's the Tang CS50 V35. Profiled this thing with V30s as well as M75s. And it does this thing. These are P90s. Humbuckers are going to be, you know, even more raucous, you know. You know, they're just fat. They're angry.
Totally, yeah.
You know what I mean?
They have a nice little squish.
Yeah, it's a really nice squish. It's sort of like the V30s to me are kind of what the modern orange amps are voiced for, and they're fat sounding. It's hard to get them scooped. So like what you played in the beginning was actually a really great example of how great these amps can be clean. But you were on the CS30, so the Class A version.
Okay.
Like profile, and you have a scooped guitar. If you don't have a scooped guitar like a single coil, it's tough to make these sound pretty. But they sound like beautiful in their own sort of.
Yeah.
They just sound like rock, you know what I mean?
Totally.
Just sounds like rock music. If you want to get something a little, you know, sort of squishier, you can jump back to these, I call them CS30, and that's when it's got the like Class A mode on. You know what I mean?
Is that like more vintagey? Is that?
Yeah. So Class A would be how a Vox runs. It would be how like the orange AD30s run.
Okay.
It would be just like any single-ended, basically any EL84 amp almost runs in Class A.
Okay.
So it's like all the tubes are working all the time. It is a more vintage feel. It's a saggier feel. Although that has more to do with like a rectifier really. But they just sound like frickin'. You know what I'm saying?
It sounds like you're in a band.
It's You and me were saying it sounds like every Southern California rock band
Yeah.
from like the time we came up.
And like little clubs, like a couple hundred people, just like going like, yeah.
Yeah, just rock.
Yeah, it's a great sound.
Okay, show us what it does with that Strat when it's not so angry. That's beautiful.
Yeah.
It's nice.
Like clear, you know.
Could you clean it up if you wanted to?
I bet you could.
Try it.
So here's the.
But who wants to do that?
Not this guy.
Not rock bands.
No.
You know? Anyway, these things are really cool. It's sort of like the other British sound. Not the chimey one. And not the one with like bright caps. You know what I mean? Not the Marshall one and not the Voxy sound.
Right.
But to me, orange amps just always sound like Jimmy Page. Just like you could like whistle the harmonics. You know what I mean? It's like you slap a chord and it's so thick and sort of stacked with overtones that you could, you know what I mean? There's almost like strings on the guitar in between these strings that are ringing out.
Right.
I don't know. That's to me always been the great orange sound, and the CS50 definitely has it. But what's really cool is I always loved the sound of blues. With any EL84 amp, really. And so what we did was with the OR15 pack, we grabbed some profiles of the OR15 with a different speaker than you might expect. So here is, we'll do a little clean one first. Yeah, we'll just go right in the middle. This is the Tang OR15 X3. X, similar to how Vox does it, stands for with Celestian Blues. Now, this amp has a little more gain than you would usually associate with amps wanting to be married to a Celestian Blue. But I think if you keep it in the lower half of the gain range, profiles 1, 2, 3, maybe even 4, it sounds brilliant. Try that.
Cool.
I mean, what would you guess that is?
Yeah, maybe like a kind of a clean Marshall, like turned way down.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, it's not.
Chimier.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, the chime, it's like everything that's missing, sort of some of the high end poke through, the chime, you know, sort of comes back a little bit with blues. But it totally, you know, becomes, you know, it's not like a speaker that can handle everything. So like here is the gain almost maxed out. There's a lot of gain for a Celestian Blue. Check that out. Even on a Strat, it's going to be like too much. Now I had to like really lower the fat head and also cut the bass on the amp a lot just to not get the speakers to really like fall apart. But then to me, this is where like V30s really come alive. Here's kind of the speaker the amp is voiced for. So here's the Tang OR15 V35. It's about the same amount of gain, maybe even slightly less gain. But listen to that. Maybe even a tad like crackly in the high end. It's so much preamp gain.
Yeah.
But, you know, it's less, I don't want to say less vintagey sounding, but it's a little less explodey sounding.
Right.
You know what I mean? But then clean, these things, you know, they're good. They're good-ish. I never loved V30s clean.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Try that.
This is still the OR15.
This is the OR15, but now there's the V30s clean. Not bad, but the V30s are always like kind of tight sounding. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They stay together for a long time. To me, it's like the Mesa Boogie of speakers.
Okay.
You know? It's not, you know what I'm saying? Clean, it's like, that's good.
Yeah, I like that.
It's good. There's nothing wrong with that.
I've heard better and worse.
Yeah, you know? You really get it gained up and going. You know, that's where you see all that good stuff.
Just another reminder of like what the speaker and the cabinet do to the sound. I mean, it's just...
The speaker makes a huge difference.
It's a huge difference.
Okay, check this out. That was the V30. Okay. Now here is the M75, more of a greenback voice speaker. Same gain, same everything. Try that. V30 again. And now Celestian Blue. What a difference a speaker makes.
Man, that's crazy.
Yeah. And you know, you get more gain going, and I think the speakers change even more. You get even more sort of the differences come out. You know what I mean?
And is this sort of a simple amp setup? Is that why you went with a lot of different speaker options?
Yeah, it's a single channel, just 15 watt EL84 kind of sound. And I mean, you can hear the difference in these profiles that we've been playing, right? So the CS50 has a lot more like low end girth. Like this thing sounds relatively small.
Right.
Comparatively, if I jump back here, you know, maybe here, you can hear the power. The V30s just need a little more power. This V30's clean.
Yeah, a little bit more present. It's just like...
To me, that doesn't... it doesn't sound like a small amp. And even clean, it doesn't sound like a low-powered kind of thing.
Right.
You know what I mean? That's the difference between EL34s and EL84s. You know what I mean? Yeah. Even four of them just don't... they get somewhere. Yeah. But they, you know, they never sound like a big amp with a big transformer.
Yeah, sure.
But yeah, the OR15 is kind of... it's a simple amp, but it's got a lot of gain on tap.
Okay.
And I think with blues, it does really well for overdrives and cleans. I like it with single coils. I think if you want to get like pretty rockin', the V30s are the best all-around speaker, at least in this pack. The M75 is really good too, but as the amp gets, you know, too overly gained up, you're gonna miss the mid-range of the V30s. Okay. The CS50, whether you're on sort of a Class A, the 30 mode, or the CS50 profiles, which is like Class AB, you know, you could just feel it feels like a big amp. If I wanted a awesome, ridiculous rock tone, CS50 with the V30s, that's the way to go. Okay. You know what I mean? It's just big and fat, and it sounds like every time you hit a chord, there's like another guitar hitting a chord behind it. You know what I mean? Yeah. It sounds like this. You see what I mean?
Massive.
Well, I've been HW.
I've been the Sooze.
Thank you so much for watching Tone Junkie TV. The CS50 and the OR15 packs are out now. Yeah. They sound like British rock royalty walked into your room and slapped a cowboy chord.
Love that.
And what else? What else would you want?
That's about it.
That's
really.
about it.
Yeah.
HW.
Sooze.
Out.
Out.